I was most proud of the fact that our guys continued to battle, they continued to fight all the way to the end.
Touchdown!
We just dug ourselves in too deep a hole to get out of.
And that will do it. The season has come to an end for the Green Bay Packers.
A lot of times in your failures, you're going to learn more than when you have success. So hopefully we'll make the necessary adjustments so that we can go into next season and we improve.
Hello and welcome to Total Packers, the season in review. I'm Larry McCarren. It was a season where the Packers suffered through a 5-game losing streak on their way to a seemingly hopeless 4-8 record. But it was also a season where they rallied to win 4 straight and fight their way back into the playoff chase.
The biggest thing to remember is we're not dead.
There he goes, 20, 15, 10, 5. He leaped into the end zone for the dagger.
We stuck together and we found a way. Give it up for yourself. Hell of a win.
And down he goes. A.J. Dillon busting his way. Touchdown!
But when you win a couple in a row, it starts giving you some confidence that we can go to Miami and win.
Hits the scene, 25-30. It's a race down the stretch. Touchdown! And there is your dagger!
We took that, baby. On to the next one.
Keyshawn Nixon is off to the races. Intercepted.
I know not many of you people believe we'd be sitting here at 8-8, controlling our own destiny, going into week 18.
Talk about dramatics, talk about emotion. That's the season, boys and girls. The Packers had control of their destiny here tonight, but they've been unable to beat the Detroit Lions. Final score from Lambeau Field in Green Bay. Detroit 20, the Packers 16.
I feel for our locker room, I feel for our coaches and fans. I just, it wasn't enough. We didn't do enough.
But they did infuse plenty of hope into a situation that was looking pretty hopeless at one point. I am now joined by my esteemed colleagues from Packers.com, Mike Spofford and Wes Hodkiewicz. And Mike, what stood out to you about the 2022 Green Bay Packers season?
Well, Larry, unfortunately, even when you start winning games, if you have an issue that you can't solve, it's probably going to bite you at the wrong time. I think in 2021 it was the special teams. We don't need to relive that. In 2022 it felt like red zone and goal to go. And even when the Packers started to turn things around, that issue was never really solved. And I think that's really what cost them in the game they had to have to keep the season going.
Wes, how about you? What's your biggest takeaway?
Yeah, for me it was complimentary football, Larry. I mean, there were so many times where I felt like all 3 phases played exceptionally well, but maybe 1 or 2 games where they were able to put it all together at the same time. I've known that for a while, that's important in the National Football League, but I thought this particular team really underscored the importance of it and why you have to be able to find that continuity with an entire team to truly win football games.
Guys, let's talk about turning points. And for me, one of them occurred with the trip to London. The Packers head over there 3-1. First half goes according to plan. At the end of it, clock winding down, Mason Crosby kicks a 48-yard field goal. Packers head to the locker room with a 10-point lead against what turned out to be a pretty darn good football team. Second half, things head south. The Packers proceed to lose 4 more, 7 of their next 8, and the season is never the same. Now, for a positive turning point, for me, it came when the Packers returned from their bye. Suddenly, football was fun, and I'm talking about the mood and the tone at practice in the locker room. I don't know if you guys noticed it, but I sure did. And suddenly that attitude, that fun attitude, starts translating into better play on the field. How about you guys? Do you see any turning points this year?
Well, Larry, I couldn't agree with you more about the London game, and not just because of the loss, but Christian Watson missed the second half of that game with the hamstring injury. We saw very little of him over the next month. And then, of course, that game ended with the Hail Mary attempt where Aaron Rodgers broke his thumb. He played through it, but not an ideal situation for a quarterback.
Yeah, and for me, Larry, I look at that Chicago game too. I mean, that play, that end-around touchdown to Christian Watson, to me, is one of the most memorable images of this season in one of those kind of I got you moments, against the defense. Chicago didn't see it coming. And Watson, considering what he did with this offense in the second half of the year, I thought it was the perfect example of what he brings.
Of course, casting a rather large shadow on everything Packer is Aaron Rodgers. And now that the season is over, his plans for the future.
I mean, it's a feeling. Do I feel like I have anything left to prove to myself? Do I want to go back and gear up for another grind? Or is it time? Is it time to step away? Is it time for another voice to be leading this team? I think I need to get away and contemplate those things.
This was a tough season. This was not what we expected. That stretch in the middle was really hard. I think all of our players, not just Aaron, there's different feelings as you go through that. So I really respect the process he goes through after the season. He's done this for a long time. What he goes through during the offseason to get prepared for a season is significant. And I understand the decision he has to make of whether he wants to go through that.
I have a lot of pride in what I've accomplished in this league, but I'm also realist, and I understand where we're at as a team. We're a young team. There could be some changes with some of the older guys, and it could be time to step away. But I could take some time and say, hell no, man, I need to get back out there and go on another run. But I'll have to see what it feels like once I'm away from it.
After the break, we discuss the emergence of rookie Christian Watson, but first take a look back at a game-clinching moment from Tampa Bay.
Here are the Buccaneers to the line of scrimmage. Slot left, slot right. Motion by Gage. Snap to Brady. Brady looking, waiting, scrambles right, throws, end zone, tipped up into the air. It is incomplete. It is incomplete. Devondre Campbell tipped it up into the air in the right side of the end zone. And there is your dagger. Wow. What dramatics turning back. The best to ever do it. And seal this win for the Green Bay Packers. Wow.
Cause I'm hungry like I never ate.
He's a different type of guy. There was, I think, optimism around this being a possibility.
Dinner time, so get out the way.
He made a great over-the-shoulder catch, and away we go.
What you know about that hunger?
Rainbow's right side, and he's got the rookie over the shoulder catch to the end zone. It is a touchdown for Christian Watson.
I know that those are plays I can make. Just something I know I'm capable of.
Oh, this time he's got Watson again. Touchdown, Green Bay.
It means a lot to him. It does. Cool to see him bounce back in that moment.
For the third time today, all that kid does is catch touchdowns.
Christian Watson put the league on notice in Week 10, setting new franchise marks in the process. Watson became the first Packer rookie to notch 100 receiving yards and 3 TDs in a game since James Lofton did it more than 44 years ago. The week prior to the Cowboys game, I saw Christian Watson do a standing backflip at practice. At that moment, I thought no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That young man is a very unique talent.
Well, he gave us a legitimate home run threat.
Has Watson, he's got it!
Speed is huge for winning one-on-one matchups, just being able to create that extra bit of separation. It's there in my toolbox, and it's one of the tools that I would say that I use probably the most out of anything.
Speed kills again.
He is an extremely intelligent player. You can move him anywhere within the formation and know that he's going to go out there and execute to the best of his abilities.
And look at the run!
by the rookie Watson.
I'm excited for the opportunities and, the opportunity to play a role within our offense and help us try to win football games.
It's caught. Watson is in.
I've kind of learned throughout the season to just be really self-critical. Hear from the coaches all the time. Be able to evaluate yourself and see what you need to continue to grow from.
If he approaches the offseason the way I think he'll approach it, I think we're going to see an even better version of him next year.
I told you. I told you.
Christian Watson just got to continue to own my role and expand my role going forward. Whatever opportunities come my way, obviously, make the most out of them. Do whatever I can to continue to grow as a player and as a teammate. Continue to do everything I can, do what's asked of me.
He can fly.
I don't think there's anything this guy can't do.
Back with Mike and Wes and Mike. Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, and Samori Toure. Are we getting over the Davante Adams hangover?
Well, it doesn't happen overnight, right, Larry? But we saw so much progress here in 2022 from the Packers. When Christian Watson got going in the second half of the season, 8 touchdowns in a span of 4 games, he changed the way the Packers offense functioned and the way opponents had to defend the Packers. When I look at the other two, Doubs and Toure, Romeo was not necessarily the same player after he came back from that ankle injury that kept him out for a while. But I'll remember that Buffalo game. 2 tremendous catches in that game, including a fantastic touchdown. And Toure getting his first NFL touchdown in that same Buffalo game, a lot of promise for 2023.
If you were to name the Packers' best offensive player for the entire season, the whole ball of wax, I think you'd name Aaron Jones. And you know what? He's just as impactful off the field. What did your mom say when she learned that you were the Packers nominee for the Walter Payton Man of the Year award for the 2nd straight year? What did she say?
She was just so happy. She just came and gave me a big hug and told me how proud she was of me, and that's one of the things that, just warms my heart, just hearing my mom or my dad say, "I'm proud of you." Say it after games and things like that, but for something that you do off of the field. And my parents have a big hand in that. I told my mom thank you as well, They have a big hand in that and helping me become who I've become and the man I've become.
Walter Payton Man of the Year award. Excellence on and off the field. It is a big deal. But knowing that, I decided to go back and look at Walter's from my era. Look at Walter's statistics. And Aaron Jones' 4-year career, up to this very moment, you average 5+ a carry. Do you know how many the great Walter Payton averaged per carry?
I'm gonna say 4.9 or 4.8.
4.4.
4.4.
And he only had one season where he averaged 5+, and you're now doing it for 4. And I wanted to ask, was there a moment when you came into the league where you said, you know what, I can do this and do it extremely well?
When I went to go take my first snap on the field, when A-Rod greeted me out there, and he just gave me a boost of confidence. Who hadn't taken an offensive snap, and he goes, "You're one of my favorite people in this organization. I believe in you." And just for him to say that meant a lot to me. He kind of saw what I could do and how serious I was about the game.
Both Aaron Rodgers and Matt Lafleur have said in so many words that Aaron Jones makes coming to work more enjoyable. He makes it a better place to be. Now, I'm sure that's not a conscious effort on your part. Are you just being you?
I'm just being me. I love everybody who I'm around, and I believe in being where your feet are and just investing in the people around you and in the time that you have. You can never get time back, so just taking advantage of it and making those relationships and making it meaningful and just enjoying and remembering every moment of it, because you're creating something special, you're creating a bond. And I say football is like its own little fraternity, its own brotherhood. And whether you play here for a day or however many years, you're always my teammate and I'm gonna remember you. And I love being here with my guys. It's not work, it's football.
Aaron, you know, I do the color on the radio. You did one of your crazy good runs where you run over, around, and through the opposition. And I said,
don't know about you, Wayne, but I think Aaron Jones leads the Packers in rushing and heart.
Aaron, where does that heart part come from?
It comes from my parents, really, my father. He told me when you're younger, he was like, they can pretty much measure everything, but they can't measure this. As long as you go out there and play with this, you leave it all out there, it'll work out for you, and you're doing it the right way. And I've seen time and time and time again, and for 28 years, it's worked. So I look to continue to do that and play with heart.
Your charitable efforts, certainly considerable. And when asked about them in their totality, you said, it's not draining, it's fun. Brings joy to my heart. You and your brother Alvin have the A&A All the Way Foundation, and you've helped a variety of different causes with that. Is there a single charitable cause that you think, when you helped, you thought, that is so cool?
The Shoes for Yards campaign. I know I'm making an impact in these kids. You can see it on their face, you can see it on their family's face, and who doesn't love a new pair of shoes? And everybody's not blessed to get a new pair of shoes. To be able to give these kids shoes and to be able to give away that many is special to me. Just looking to continue to give back, and I feel like that's one of my callings, just to serve people and give back to them and use my platform.
Wes, pound for pound, not a better player or man in the National Football League.
Yeah, Larry, they really don't get any better than Aaron Jones. I mean, you look at everything he's done on the field, 3-time 1,000-yard rusher at a position where guys typically have a little bit of a leeway. He continues to get better and better as the years go on, but off the field, back-to-back Man of the Year nominee for the Packers. One of the huge bright spots here for the Packers looking forward.
Thank you, Wes. Coming up, putting the special back in special teams and an unforgettable fourth quarter from Miami on Christmas Day.
Can't say enough about our defense, especially in the second half. Definitely made a few adjustments, really went out there and executed.
Just going off the field, if I feel like I can go get something, I'm going to try to end it.
Fires it over the left side, intercepted, wide open and down the right sidelines, coming back with a Jair Alexander.
We get it. These guys are fast, but we're still good. We're still like the best secondary in the league. We played like a second half.
Quick throw, intercepted. Devondre Campbell coming back across the 30.
That's how it is. You get one pick, more going to come. You keep catching those, you keep getting them.
Heaves it right side. Intercepted! Intercepted by Rasul Douglas, and there is your dagger!
I called him primetime last year because he was always making primetime plays, and he did it again tonight.
My goodness, what a play!
Welcome back to Total Packers. Green Bay saw a pair of standouts earn All-Pro honors for their play this season. Jair Alexander racked up a career-high 5 picks on his way to a second-team spot. On first team, kick returner Keyshawn Nixon came out of nowhere to receive the biggest honor of his 4-year career. All thanks to memorable moments like this.
Text the coaches this morning, like, feel like a Ferrari. He's like, huh? He said, I feel like a Ferrari. I came here, just ran around. I'm like, ready to go. So I'm playing.
Here comes Nixon to the 5. Left hash marks 10, 15. Hits the hole hard.
I felt like the open sea, I just ran through it. And I knew I just had one person to beat. And then once I passed the kicker, it's party time.
Breaks into the clear. Keyshawn Nixon is off to the races. It's Secretariat at the Belmont. Down the stretch they come. No one will catch him. It is a touchdown for Keyshawn Nixon. My goodness.
Welcome back to Total Packers, the season in review. And Mike, what a difference a real deal return man makes.
No question about it, Larry. Keyshawn Nixon, he didn't just impact the field position for the offense. He energized the entire special teams unit. He would energize the entire sideline during a game with what he could do, his explosiveness, his fearlessness. He was a big-time playmaker in the third phase, and it impacted the whole team.
Wes, Keyshawn Nixon will be a free agent, and he's got plenty of brand name company.
Yeah, he does, Larry. I mean, you look at Mason Crosby, you look at Alan Lazard, Dean Lowry. For me, though, I go back to Lazard just from the standpoint of the Packers. They have some very talented young receivers, as you said, but they're mostly younger guys. I mean, Lazard brings a veteran presence, but also his abilities as a blocker, his abilities on third down. He has fit so well into Matt Lafleur's scheme. We'll be very interested to see what they do there.
Mike, is it too early to talk about the draft?
Yeah, it probably is, Larry. We need to see what happens with the roster and the free agents and whatnot, but the Packers have the 15th pick. The last couple times they were picking in that range, Jair Alexander was at number 18, Rashawn Gary was at number 12. Should be able to get a pretty good player.
Wes, the opponents for the 2023 season are out. Do you have a headline act?
It has to be the Las Vegas Raiders, right, Larry? I mean, not only the Devontae Adams return match, but we finally get to hopefully see Devontae Adams versus Jair Alexander. So many years that happened in practice. Now it'll actually happen in the game.
Okay, guys, time to name your pick for the Super Bowl champion, Mike.
Well, I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills, Larry. I think they put the 0-4 run, the ghosts of 30 years ago, finally put to rest.
Wes, how about you?
I'm going to go with the San Francisco 49ers. I like their defense, what D'Amico Ryans has going on there, and also Brock Purdy. How far can this kid take it?
I agree with you. I'll go with the 49ers because I like the way they play. Thank you, gentlemen, and thank you for watching. We'll leave you with a look ahead that really counts, the one that comes from Packers general manager, Brian Gutekunst. So long.
I believe in our group. I really do. I think every year is new, and this is a hard league. But I believe in the players. Certainly, there's going to be change within our roster. There's no doubt about that. But I believe in the organization, how we do things. I believe in the process. Sometimes things don't go your way, and you kind of look at it and you got to go tweak things. But I believe in the people in this building, and I'm excited for 2023.